Howdy y'all, Mulclax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so I don't think this is really giving me the amount of coal I was thinking it would. I mean, it was nice to find new places to explore, but this isn't getting me the amount of ammo I need. So I think I'm just gonna head home and do some... How far away did I leave my bike, man? Sheesh. Just gonna head home and mine, I guess. Get out of here, buzzard. Nobody likes you. Not even your mama. Haven't said that in a long time. Oh, yes. So we started playing Terraria this week, like everybody else. Last time I'd played Terraria was 2013. So yeah, 2013. And so the guys I stream with on it's gonna be on Thursdays. Although we did play yesterday to get it started. But every Thursday around 4-ish, probably closer to 5-ish. I'm ready to go at 4-ish, but other people not so much. And that is a puddle of water. That is a puddle of water. This will be interesting. I don't know. It's an okay game. It just never hooked me, to be honest. I liked Starbound, which I have not played since it finished. I played it through some of the early betas and stuff, but kind of gave it a break because it was just like repeating everything over and over again, and I've never gone back to it. Someday though, someday I'll get back in there, play Starbound. They're similar games. They're actually by some of the same people. Well, I think Terraria is a much bigger. Well, Terraria is a different kind of game, a little bit, I guess. I said they're the same kind of game, and then I just said they weren't the same kind of game. Terraria is more fantasy, and Starbound is more sci-fi, right? Like there's spaceships, and you travel from planet to planet. But you're still tiny little side-scrolling voxel blocks, last I knew. Um, and then you bust up some bosses to get your hands on the parts. Okay, this might be telling how long it's been since I played it, but that's what it was like when I played it. I think there were 10 planned bosses. I think I fought through like 6, 4, 5 of them. And so basically, like, you start on the first planet and you start with the basic materials, and then each planet had its own special ore, and so every upgrade to your starship, basically what you had to upgrade was the navigation. You had to build the navigation logs, and so to build the next navigation logs, you had to have the next material, and you could only get that from the next planet. And or maybe you got the navigation log off the boss. Maybe that's what it was. You had to keep upgrading your ship, but you had to get the navigation log off the boss. That's what it was, to be able to go to the next planet that had the next kind of material that you needed to upgrade with. And so I remember that being quite a lot of fun to me. Because I liked the... Oh, look, a bridge. Huh. Sort of a bridge. It didn't quite make it, but it It tried to be a bridge. I haven't seen a bridge in forever. It tried to be a little bridge. Um, Look, another one. It tried to be a bridge. It was near water, right? It was near some water. Uh, but yeah. My online game of D&D, to switch gears, uh, kind of stalled out at this point, and I gave them a little push today. They they kind of drive me crazy. I talked about it before, but they don't really use doing words, as one might say. They do a lot of I thinks or maybe we shoulds, and not a lot of I want to or um, my character will. And so uh, it's really funny to me because it must be going on 2 or 3 weeks now that they killed some spiders, and then they ran into some guards, and it's taken them a long time to decide what they're doing. And so they finally decided they were going to not attack the guards and try to interact with them peacefully, which is good because they weren't bad guys; they were just guards. And so, but the problem is that left them looking at three paths they could choose from. They could continue heading south like they're supposed to. I say supposed to. I don't mean I'm forcing them to go south. I simply mean that they were asked to go south and they said they would. Um, and they have been traveling south up to this point. Because of uh, the last time there was, because they're in tunnels, so the tunnels only really go to a couple of places. They're just about done. I don't think there's much more to the tunnel left after they leave the place they're at now. Um, but so they talked about whether they should kill the guards or not, and then they decided to talk to them peacefully. So they talked to them a little bit peacefully. And what's crazy to me is that we're playing in Discord, and they have their private channels, and so I like to use the private channels when one of them does something that the rest of them wouldn't know. Because when you're playing in real life and someone says, "Ooh, well, I roll a perception check," and then you tell them what they can see based off their perception check, well, everybody can hear what they can see. But in real life, unless you tell the other people, nobody knows what you saw. And so I like that. And so when they do checks like that, or they go off out of the rest of the group's sight, I like to do the stuff in their private channels. And so we had gone through um, the rogue, who's kind of the scout for the group, and she heads over and right. I talked about it before, but she was like asking all these questions. I'm like, she sounds like she's about to attack. And so I had to point out that they weren't necessarily bad guys, as D&D usually has them being. They're just people, and so you might be about to jump just people. And so she went back to the group, and but while she was there, over top of the guards, someone had some time in the past put up a sign that this was the city of Roswell. Now, they're not in New Mexico, they're in Georgia, and there's an actual Roswell, Georgia. And so that's where they're at. And so I told the person how the you know what? I bet if I go north here, I can catch a big road that leads me. Oh no, because my house is like straight west of here. I don't want to go that far north. Um, and so I had him roll a history check because you don't always know what your characters know, right? And so they might come across something that you think, well, maybe they might know it. Sometimes they might come across something and you just go, yeah, yeah, they would know that. Uh, like one of our characters in their backstory slash class makeup is ex militia field medic, and so if they asked if they would know anything about something related to the militia or being a field medic, and they're a doctor at a hospital, so anything related to that, they would just know. I wouldn't have to roll to see, oh, well, maybe you don't know that blue is the uniform that you would wear. There's not that kind of thing. They would know that. That's something you would know. Um, Now, if I wanted to know if they knew about a top secret project that the militia knew, I might have them roll a history check to see if they'd heard rumors, because there's nothing in their backstory or class makeup to indicate that they were part of any kind of top secret thing. Um, or like the one character, I'm not really sure on their backstory. We discussed it a bit, but I don't think they ever straight up came out with how involved they are in the thing they were involved with. And so I might, just say they know something, but chances are they're gonna have to, it give them the ability to roll where someone else wouldn't necessarily roll. But in this case, just whether or not they'd ever heard of the town of Roswell, which if you lived in that area now, you would know about. But in my post-apocalyptic world, right, there isn't as much news spread as we'd have now outside of their area, because their area is kind of the well-to-do area, basically. Basically, they grew up in the rich area of the country, or the section of the country that they're in, because um, farther north, they haven't been to. Well, one of them came from farther north, but there are the tribes in the north, uh, um, and maybe some cities farther than north than they've ever heard of. Um, but there isn't much to the south from where they're at. Like they're going into the ruined wasteland of Fallout, basically, at this point. And so there's not there's not a lot of goodness that they're traveling into. Um, but then I drove right into that pond. Then I came up with this little Roswell. Well, I didn't come up with Roswell, right? Like I said, it's a real place. But I thought that it would be fun for them to come across like a little wasteland town along the way, and so the rogue scout, she rolled history and got a really good roll, and so I'm like, all right, well, she's heard of this place. She knows a little bit about it. She knows that it's kind of more of a rough and tumble, like a western, you know, slightly wild frontier kind of town, um, and doesn't follow the government of the Ch'tooch, which is the main area that they come from. Um, I called it that because it's I forget what the name of the actual area is called, but I shortened it, and I called it Ch'tooch. And so so yeah, they rolled really good. So I told them a little bit of information about the place. I hadn't made it up yet. It was still a vague idea in my mind. I was still formulating because I don't do a lot of prep work ahead of time. Um, and being play by post gives you a lot of freedom in that regard. Like you can come up with something, but you don't have to come up with too much. Just a general vague. Honestly, that's how I DM anyways. Just a general. vague idea of where I want the head to, and then just make the rest of it up as we go. And uh, I've had whole villages and quest lines spring up out of nowhere because I don't have a map or anything of what the I do have a map because it's a real place, but I don't reference it very often, and so I was really surprised because she got a good roll, she got information on it, and then she didn't share it with the group, and she still hasn't shared with the group that she knows about this town. And because everybody else rolled terrible. Uh, 10, you roll a d20. 10 is something that most people could do. 7 was the highest they've rolled. So there's no way they knew anything about it. Whereas she rolled a 17. So she actually probably knows quite a bit of information about the town. I just hadn't had it made up yet. And so I might drop her some hints here and there if necessary about the town. Because she rolled 17, and that's pretty good. Because if a 10 is something that everybody should probably know, um, you know, a 17 is maybe not a scholar's knowledge or a resident's knowledge of the place, um, but she may have been there once, or she's definitely heard stories about the place. Um, and and so I like that. I like that the separate channel allows for that kind of play. So if I tell her anything about the town, I will tell her, and the rest of the group will never know unless she shares it. And they're not good at sharing for some reason. I've played three or four three or four different play-by-post games now in Discord using separate channels like this, and I am amazed at how little like like they hoard it, like it's gonna kill them if they share the information they have with the rest of their group. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Why aren't you sharing that information? Why would you not tell your party that you know about the giant that lives up the hill and that's the noise that they're hearing while they're trying to sleep? Like, I guess if you're trying to be funny and you're just like, ooh, I don't know what could be up the hill, but like, why would you not tell? I mean, that's happened. That's happened in my game. I swear I picked up some brass. There we go. Some brass and stuff. Okay. And but I find that to be a lot of fun um, when they do stuff like that, and then you get to be just a little dumbfounded. Like, why would you hide those facts from your group when they're your group? Like, they need to know. Why do you need to know? They need to know. Is that not what I needed? What did I do here? Nitrate? Coal? Oh, you don't have any wood. There you go. Get that all in the gunpowder. And then we got some seeds for the old garden out here. Some mushroom spores. I got some more pumpkin seed. I got some more corn seed. Eventually, I hope to get enough stuff together to make seeds myself and really lay into that garden and clean it up. I know it's a it's a big mess right now. But the honestly, honestly, probably not going to get much farther than I am right now. Because Alpha 19 is coming and I'll have to start over. Um, but I say have to, get to. I get to start over with Alpha 19 coming. Really? Apparently 125 is the limit on empty bottles. Kind of excited about Alpha 19. It looks pretty good. I'm hoping they don't change a lot. I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume that I haven't been on the forums or anything, so I don't know. But I'm gonna assume from all that's going on that they are approaching beta, um, because well, we've been at alpha a long time now, and like they'll probably tweak some stuff yet, but I'd like to think that they are probably heading into beta soon, and okay. Yeah, that's got a long, long time to go. Alright, so what I want to do is I've got to figure out where coal is. I know that in the previous version, one of the things that you would do is you would find a boulder. But that's not. And there'd be gravel around the boulder, and you would dig up the gravel, and whatever you dug up is what was underneath of it. But this isn't even gravel, so I'm gonna assume that's not a thing now. Uh, there's this thing where I have access to the internet. Um, oh, yeah. Nope. I need to find black rocks. So I need to head back over here and find black rocks. Great. That seems like a long way to travel. We go off road though. We're gonna go off road a little bit and see if we can't find some black rocks, I guess. I just need a lot of coal, so I can make a lot of bullets. Let's go west. West actually doesn't go anywhere. Like, I haven't been anywhere west of here, basically, because it just turned into wilderness, and wilderness sounds like what I need to be exploring. So, black rocks. I see lots of white rocks. Like, this rock isn't black, but it's got a black spot on it. But that just came up as stone, so I don't think that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, so today I was like, all right, guys, here's the deal. So you've made your choices. No, you've discussed that there are choices, and these are the three choices that you have available at the moment for your directions. So y'all need to make a decision, I said. And the one guy goes, "Well, I think that the guy that you control, I don't know why I'm giving him that voice, but he said, I think the guy you control it would side with my guy." And I'm like, I feel like he's pretty apathetic, and he doesn't really care which direction the party goes. He's content to just be. He is a druid, so and he's not the kind of druid you're thinking. He's a fire druid, uh, which is a new kind of druid they had when I was making characters. It's pretty freaking awesome too. I love this class, and I hope they keep it because it is just about exactly what I was after when I tried to make my own class. Mine was based off the druid and everything. I have more elements though. They've only got fire. I had earth, air, wind, water, and based it off of EverQuest 2. um, and so I apparently found the ocean. The ocean is not helpful to me. Um, so they decided to go into the town, and finally, after I told them they had to make the decision, see that's iron right there. I'm pretty sure iron on the surface, indicating there's more iron below. I'm not in the need for iron. Iron is pretty easy to obtain. Yeah, I think this must just be. Is the edge of the map no longer radioactive? It's ocean? Kind of looks like it might be. Alright, well, head back inland then. Ocean ain't gonna cut it. And I didn't bring fuel with me, and traveling cross country with no chance for cars is not a great idea. I mean, I could pick up my bike and carry it with me. It's not that big a deal, I guess. But I see a road. So I should be able to find. Oh. Well. You're not much of a road, are you? You kind of head back the direction I came from. So, yeah. So the town is basically, so it's a big cataclysm, right? That's why it's post-apocalyptic. There's actually a lot of cataclysms. I don't know if I ever. I think I kind of went through all the cataclysms, but uh, the town, anyways, is sunken into a crater, and so I found a picture of like an abandoned city in China. It said where it was tiered down the mountainside, but it's been abandoned, so it's all covered in vines and stuff. So I gave him that picture. That's another thing I really like about Discord is I can just pop up a picture if I can find one I like of kind of what they're seeing as I describe it to them. Um, other thing that's pretty cool is the bot that I was talking about, the dice bot that we use. I use one that's really good for just rolling dice, but there's this other one that they're supposed to be integrating into, or they were saying they were going to be integrating it with the official digital tools that like character sheets and stuff that we use. And so today they tweeted that it's I can see a car. Do you see the car? Um, so today they officially have come online. So everything from their character sheets should be should work, which is awesome, awesome. Because there are things that you can't have access to unless you've purchased them, and I have all the books purchased on D&D Beyond, uh, and because the DM, and it's great to have all those different ideas to pull from, and so you know, it gives them access to everything that I've purchased, and so they should be able to use the commands for all that stuff. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, it's like, oh, you're gonna cast a spell. Well, you can type in the words and it will cast the spell for you instead of you having to go online, find the book, find the spells. It's all right there in Discord now, and you just type in a little command and it brings it right up. Um, the only thing you'd have to go to your character sheets now for is like updating hit points when the fights are all over, or XP, or if you add new items or stuff like that. Because it's not fully integrated. Like the commands in Discord affect your character sheet on D&D Beyond. It just basically pulls from your character sheet to Discord um, so that you can get the information, and so being able to access all that is going to be great. Um, so yeah, I don't know that I probably should end the episode here, but my apocalyptic world kind of went like this. This is what I came with in my mind. So a comet is headed for Earth, right? And and so there happens to be an alien race who's flying nearby, who see it. Technically, and nobody knows it yet, but they were on the run. And so they tried to stop the comet, and they kind of did. They kind of did not. And so, comet struck the Earth, but only a piece of it. And a lot of it struck the moon, cracking the moon, which changed the tides and stuff. But their ship also got broken up, and but they're kind of I wouldn't call them a psionic race, but they're a technologically magical race. Let's put it that way. And so they use a cloud of nanites that are just hang about in the atmosphere to do magic stuff, right? And so, because D&D is a magic-based game, kind of, so there's like fireballs and stuff like that. Well, people don't do that, and so it'd be really weird to just suddenly have some people be able to do that. So I thought, okay, so how would I translate magic into a sci-fi world, basically? So what I came up with was the shroud, I call it. And so to save their people, they had to basically. Ooh, we got a new book. They had to basically seed the earth with the shroud so that they could use their powers to stop their ship's bits from smashing into the ground, killing them all. And so that was the first bad thing that happened, and then um, the humans the humans want control over the shroud, and so they experiment with it. And so one of my favorite horror ideas from uh, sci-fi is gray goo, and which is where nanites are like little tiny robots, right? Nanobots, and so there's a gray goo scenario where, if you've never heard of it, where what happens is the nanites can reconstruct themselves using what's around them, and so gray goo is where the programming of the nanobots um, goes wrong, and all they want to do is reproduce themselves, and so they just turn everything they touch into more bots. Everything, people, planets, the dirt, everything. So it's a gray goo scenario, they call it. And so that happened. And it's a little more intense than just that. There's actually an AI that wants to control everything that was involved, which they may or may not run into over the course of the game. And so they had to fight back against it. And so during the conflict, um, other countries get involved because it spreads, and it ends with nuclear war to stop the gray goo. Basically, they managed to shut down the AI. Uh, what is this? Is this a gallows? Really? Huh. Weird. Just out in the middle of nowhere. And so uh, that, of course, caused some issues. Oh, right. I forgot the other two parts that happened. And due to stresses from the comet strikes and the nuclear war, um, uh, the Yosemite Earth volcano erupted, which is a big super volcano that will destroy the world, kind of thing, and just stuff like that. And so while all that is going on, part of the military and the government go into an underground bunker that's completely sealed off so that uh, to give them time to fight back against the gray goo. And so they've been in this bunker for almost 1,000 years at this point. And then because I love Fallout, all right. And so then on top of that, Earth tried to send two colony ships away from Earth before the comet arrived, and one of those ships vanished, and the other one appears to have worked. And so um, I have no shortage of bad guys. I know that the aliens who tried to help Earth, um, like there are aliens hunting them that will eventually show up. Right now, they're fighting back against the dudes who were in the bunker, um, and they haven't even met the aliens yet. Right now, they're just dealing with the dudes in the bunker. Um, and then I don't know why I'm on the road when I said I was going to be looking for this. I guess this isn't the right territory yet. This is wasteland. I need to get back over to the burnt biome. Although it's almost nighttime here, so I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I think that's pretty much it with the cataclysms. But yeah, it might be fun if like the ship that vanished returns, and I have to assume that you know the ship that made it might return to reconquer the planet if I need another boss level event beyond that. I mean, there's lots of fun stuff I could do with all the horrible things that happened, and on top of that, with there was a period of time in there after some of this cataclysm before the nuclear war, and so there are a lot of other things that went down that changed humanity into the demi-humans and semi-humans and non-humans of D&D. And so I've got all the goblins and hobgoblins and orcs and stuff like that. They just all, at one point, came from human stock. And so that's the world they're in. If I could just prod them to move a little faster. So, all right. With that, click like if you like, subscribe, and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.